One thing I'm always trying to do is make wellness easier for my family, not add another complicated thing to my routine. So today we're making fresh juices, a little summertime treat for baby, and I'm attempting homemade almond milk for the first time. And we're doing all three with one machine. So I've been really trying to stay ahead of things a little more lately, especially when it comes to what we're keeping in the house. And baby, back in daycare, the season's getting ready to change, and just life be lifing. I want some easy options already in the refrigerator that everybody can grab. So today I'm grabbing everything I need to make a few different things. I'm doing a green juice for myself that's more focused on digestion and gut health, something a little sweeter and veggie forward for my husband and baby that they will actually drink. And then we're trying a homemade fruit sorbet and almond milk. And really, the goal isn't to add another complicated wellness routine in my life, it's the opposite. I want to spend a little time preparing now so that throughout the week, taking care of ourselves feels a whole lot easier.
Hey family, welcome back to my kitchen. If you don't know, I am Coach Ty, certified nutrition and fitness coach based in Atlanta, Georgia. You know what to do. Check the description box for a little bit more information. But today I'm going to be testing out a new juicer, and I'm super excited because today we're going to be making some fresh juices. Because if y'all don't know, I do have IBS. I have been able to maintain her for a very long time now, and green juices, red juices, orange juices have been helping me throughout life, okay? But it's about to be a season change, so I really want to make sure I also start incorporating things that have a little bit more immunity, like ginger, oranges, fresh fruit, things like that for baby as well. So we're making a fresh juice for me, baby, and also something I've never done before, which is nut milk. So we got that soaking, so we may not get to do that today because we have to have the almonds soak first. But we're gonna make some fresh juices, and I'm just excited because I need this. You all need this, and I want to prepare some recipes for y'all so that you can take them and use them for your family as well. So let's get into it. Okay.
So getting into everything that we're using today, this is the Canoly 3-in-1 Cold Press Juicer C16. And the really cool thing about this one is that we're not just making juice with it. It has 3 different functions. So you can make cold, fresh pressed juices, frozen sorbets, plant-based milk, all with the same machine. And we're actually trying all 3 today, like I mentioned before, because I want to see how practical each one would be for our household. And before we get started, you already know I gotta wash. Okay, I gotta wash everything. Get you some baking soda. Get you some vinegar. I do this with my meats. I do this with everything. My rice. We're gonna wash all of our fruits today. And while I'm doing this, one thing I really been thinking about lately is how much easier nutrition becomes when you stay a little bit ahead of yourself. I think sometimes we make wellness feel like another job. We're trying to cook everything fresh every single day, make the perfect meals, aesthetically pleasing, drinking enough water, eating enough vegetables, getting our workouts in, and then add motherhood, work, marriage, the house, all the other things on top of that. That is a lot. So I'm constantly looking for ways to take things I already want to do for myself and my family and make them easier to actually keep doing. For me, having some fresh juices already made and sit in the fridge, it's just one of those things, right? I'm not waking up every morning gonna be trying to do something from scratch. I know that's not realistic for me, but having this prep, especially when the seasons are changing, is gonna be clutch. Okay. We're doing the work once though, and giving ourselves the options to have this later. And this is something I want y'all to remember with your nutrition in general. Preparation does not have to mean perfection. Okay. From a type A perfectionist like myself, you do not have to meal prep 7 days of food. You don't have to make everything from scratch. You don't even have to prepare the same way somebody else does. Ask yourself, what is one thing I can do today that's going to make taking care of myself easier tomorrow? Maybe that's cooking your protein. Maybe that's washing your produce. Maybe that's making breakfast ahead of time. I know I have to do that when I have to go into work early in the morning. I have to make my meals beforehand, but maybe it's like this, having these juices ready in the fridge for your gut health, because I know I like to tap into gut health, especially when it comes to the seasonal change, because immunity is a big thing. Okay, my baby is in daycare, can't be getting sick. So that's the season I'm in right now, just staying ahead enough that when life start lifing, I don't really have to completely abandon the things that make me feel good. Okay, enough yip yapping. We're gonna get into this first juice. This one is really for me. I wanted something fresh and veggie forward that I could keep in the refrigerator as part of my normal nutrition routine. And y'all can see I'm not just sitting here chopping everything into tiny, teeny pieces. That's actually one of the features I appreciate about this machine is that it has a large feed chute. I can leave a lot of my produce whole or in larger pieces, like you can see here, which means less chopping and less prep for me. Because again, if we're talking about making wellness easier, I don't want to spend 45 minutes preparing ingredients before I even have to turn the juicer on. Okay. Just look, you can actually see, I'll get like close shots in, but you can see this. I just threw it in there. Okay. I just threw it in there. It's doing its thing. This was so easy for me. And I just like simplicity. I like easy. That's the season I'm in. Make this easy for me to make healthier choices and let me have it already ready in my fridge. And just an FYI for those of you that are new to my page, I have struggled with IBS my whole life, digestion, gut health, all the things. And when I started adding reds and greens into my daily regimen, I noticed a huge difference in how my body works and how my digestion is and just my skin, my bloating, all the things. So save this recipe, okay? It was really delicious. I ain't gonna hold you, I was really surprised. I made it by my little self and it was really really good, and I saved it and it actually lasts a whole week in this little container. Surprise surprise. I think the lemon juice really helps with just kind of preserving it. But taste test, let's taste it real quick, okay? Okay, now for one of the most important tests for me, the cleanup, because I've owned a juicer before, and if you ever had one that's had 17,000 little pieces and pulp stuck in places you didn't even know existed, you already know why it ends up sitting in the cabinet. That's one thing I was paying attention to with this one, how much work I'm going to have to do after I make the juice, because convenience isn't just how quickly I can make something. Cleanup is a part of the convenience too, and this was actually really easy to take apart. Everything separates. I can get the pulp out, rinse everything down, clean the pieces, and put it back together without turning this into another 30-minute kitchen project. That's very important because if I'm going to use something consistently, it has to fit into my actual life. I don't want another appliance that I love in theory, but avoid using it because I don't feel like cleaning it. You feel me? Okay, cool. Getting into our second juice, which is our family juice. Okay, this one's for my husband and baby. So we're going to try to go a little bit sweeter. I did try to hide in a little bit of green cucumber in here because my baby don't eat freaking vegetables. Again, you see my last post, I'll ask y'all, like, what are y'all doing right now to get your toddlers to eat more vegetables? What are y'all doing? As a mother, I just feel like it's our duty to like really make sure our kids, our husband, that they have things that they can enjoy too in the fridge that it's also healthy but also tastes good, because we don't want no nasty juices. Okay, nobody want a nasty juice. And again, like I said already, 1,001 time, I'm not trying to make this into something that's really long haul. Like I'm spending so much time and in the kitchen. This is something that's going to be simple and easy. That isn't going to have all that high fructose corn syrup, all those different additives, and all the recalls that y'all been seeing on social media every single week. No, this is nothing but fresh, good juices. And again, I really be surprising myself. So again, save the recipe. I'm gonna throw it on the screen for y'all. Listen. Switching things up real quick because, like I mentioned earlier, this machine does do more than juicing. We're changing out the filters so we can use a second function, which is going to be the frozen sorbet. And this little experiment is for my baby. Okay, since it's still hot as heck in Atlanta, I want to try to make him a simple frozen fruit treat. And I actually like this idea because I can choose exactly what fruit I'm putting into, but it's going to be just a little mix. Because again, we gotta keep it simple, keep it easy. I'm not about to cut up no other fresh fruit. We is done. Find you some frozen fruit. We're gonna throw it in there. I'm also going to show y'all. I'm going to use some coconut water because it does need some type of water or consistency to help the blending since it is frozen. So I'm just really excited about this because y'all, it tasted so good. I wish I would have added a little bit of honey just to add a little bit of sweetness. So if you are going to use this, try to get like a coconut water that has sugar in it, just so you can have a little bit more sweetness to the sorbet itself. Otherwise it's just going to taste like fruit, which I love. My baby, his little fingers go. He likes his to be real sweet, but yeah, this is just another example of what I mean when I'm talking about wellness works for your household. Everything doesn't have to be super serious green juice. Sometimes it's really just about finding a different way to serve something your family actually enjoys. And if my baby thinks we're making ice cream, I'm minding my business. Okay, y'all can mind your business too. But in all seriousness, when I went and tested it, I was like, oh, this is actually good. And the texture, just look at it, the colors. Like I was not expecting the sorbet function to be one of my favorites today, but this one really surprised me. So yes, let's get into the final thing. It took overnight, y'all. I did let these almonds soak overnight. That is very, very important if you're gonna be making your own almond milk. And I just was throwing stuff in there. I think I used about 2.5 cups of almonds. Again, I'll put the recipe on the screen. One thing I did find a recipe that you could add dates to it as well. I didn't have any dates. Again, use what you got at home already. I had vanilla extract, so I went ahead and added the vanilla extract. I thought this was a really cool feature for a juicer, to like a cold press juicer, to have like this 3-in-1 function in itself, is that it can make nut milks. Okay, you don't have to go out and buy a nut milk maker, a sorbet maker, ice cream maker. You could just have everything in one. And I just think that this just takes away the clutter off of your counters. You know us ladies, we don't like to have too much clutter on our counters. And as you can see, I was adding water just slowly but surely. Again, this is my first time doing this. We're learning this together, but I think it's really cool that, again, like the same appliance that I used to make the green juice, the sorbet, can make something that's a whole different staple in our house. Because again, we drink almond milk every single day. So this 3-in-1 aspect just makes sense to me. And also I added the little filter there I didn't use for the other things because I didn't really need the filter. I actually wanted to have all the pieces of fruit inside of my juice. But if you don't like the grit, you can use the filter that comes with this. And it really helped actually take away some of the grit. And I also see people use like a cheesecloth. I did not have a cheesecloth, so I just used my little strainer here, and it worked perfectly. The consistency came out perfect. I was very impressed. Okay, do you see this pour? Like, I was very impressed making my own plant-based milk. Okay, like my friend called me an almond mom this week. She literally, she know I actually made some almond milk. And once again, we're taking everything apart, cleaning it out, rinsing everything down, and we are done after making all the juices, sorbets, almond milk. I think that's probably the best test I could have given the cleanup process is the almonds. Y'all know it's gonna get stuck in the filter, and they give you this little brush thingy to help make the process easier. Woo, we put this little machine to work. I am tired.
Thank y'all for joining me in today's video. I'm just so grateful. Thank you so much for sending this to us, Canoly, for us to try and test out and see how we like it, which I love. It makes it so much easier to make juices. I used to have a juicer back in the day, and it was just so loud. It was hard to clean up. It was a lot of things. And this is not any of those things. We can make so much more with it. So I'm just super excited to continue to add this into the rotation for my meals throughout the week, juices throughout the week, fresh juices. Who don't want fresh juices on the ham? Anyways, I'm going to be leaving the discount code below on the screen, all the things. Just check the description box. And yeah, y'all have a great rest of your day. Thanks for joining us. Bye.